Hi, it's Steph. Thanks for clicking. This is my second update for A Court of Pans and Empties Book 2. This ACOPAE project was created by Paula of A Beauty Guru and made me do it. It is based on A Court of Mist and Fury by Sarah J. Maas, which is the second book of the ACOTAR series. This is a Pantastic Ladies project, and the Book 2 project is going to be ending on April 30th, but I'm willing to bet that Paula has a book 3 planned for A Court of War and Ruin, and so I would of course participate in that as well. I'm going to start by talking about the prompts that have been in here the longest, and the first one is Tamlin. That one has actually been in here since before the intro because I was still working on some prompts whenever I did the finale for book 1 and just kind of kept going towards the same goals. The only one of those left is Tamlin. He is, of course, the High Lord of Springcourt, and Feyre, our protagonist's love interest in the first book. The love triangle, of course, shifts some things around in the second book, and I should probably warn you that there are spoilers for the first 2 books throughout. And then near the end of the video, I'm going to talk just about the book series a little bit, and there's going to be spoilers for more of the series, but I'll warn you when we get to that part. Since Feyre did change her mind about Tamlin in the first book, and then again in the second book, he is a product that you change your mind about. This is the Cover FX Shimmer Veil in the shade Halo. I had initially thought that liquid shadows would be too messy. I had no desire to own them. I thought they'd be difficult to use. And so I wasn't all that excited when I pulled this out of an advent calendar because I didn't really want it, but then I fell in love with it. I love this as a winter shade, so it is coming into its season. My goal was to use this 10 times. The last update I had 5 uses. I am wearing it for the 3rd time this month right now, bringing me to 8. I am using it as a liner today. So there are a lot of different ways to use this. I do like it. It does dry down and set pretty quickly and then stays in place. I do use this as a topper, and it's because I like the effect, but also it does kind of like help lock in my eyeshadow so it doesn't move so much on my hooded eyes. And so it works well for that purpose too. I have 2 uses to go, and I'm sure this will be rolling out by January 1st because this is great for Christmas and New Year. I'll probably even get more than 2 uses on it. The rest of these prompts are from this project and not the last one. They came in either at the intro or last month. So we're in the correct book now, although Tamlin is still in ACOMAF. The first one from the intro was High Lady, and that is something that either like looks like diamonds or has the word diamond in the name. High ladies, of course, would rule their court, which is something that does not happen in modern Prythian until Feyre started doing that at the Night Court. We do know, however, that in the distant past there was such a thing as high ladies, and we're not entirely sure what happened to that practice. It's a bit of a mystery. Whatever the reason for there only being one high lady now, I decided to bring in a cream eyeshadow. This is the Au Naturel Creme Shadow in the shade White Quartz. It looks like diamonds. It's white and shimmery. My goal is to use this 10 times. At the last update, I had 3 uses. I used it 3 more times in the last month, bringing me to 6. So I have 4 uses to go. I may or may not do that in the next month. We'll find out. This is another nice wintry type item because I will put this on underneath like pastels, and it gives them some shine, and it just makes it look snowy, in my opinion, and cold. But I do like this product. It is still working. It is rather old. It is creamier than it once was. So this doesn't last all day anymore, but it does still work if I'm only going to be wearing makeup for a couple of hours. The next prompt I got is the Cauldron. The Cauldron is one of 2 deities worshipped by the Fae in Prythian. The humans know that they once had religion or religions, but they don't remember them anymore. The Fae worship the Cauldron and the Mother. We don't know a whole lot about the Mother, but the Cauldron is, in fact, a cauldron. It is an object, but it is sentient. It can communicate. It has its own will and desires. And since it is a cauldron, it is a potted item in this project. This is the Revlon Color Stay Creme Eyeshadow in the shade Creme Brulee. That's what it looks like. My goal is to use this 10 times as well. Yes, it is kind of competing with that other cream shadow. I had 3 uses on this last time. I got another 3, bringing me to 6. And I think for next time I might be able to go on one of the 2, but not both, and we'll see which one I decide to focus on. But I am happy with the progress on this. I think these Color Stay cream shadows are underrated. They do stay really well. I do like them, and I don't hear a whole lot of people talk about them. They do come with a little brush in the lid that does work. It kind of kinks out when you try to slide it in there, but I do use that and it works just fine. but this is still in the project for another 4 uses. Next is Tarquin. He's the High Lord of Summer Court. We did meet him in the first book, but we didn't know his name, and Feyre did not interact with him personally. She just saw him and watched him interact with Amarantha and Rhysand. Tarquin is the youngest of the High Lords, and he has white hair, and all of the High Lords kind of have a glow about them. It's part of their power. They are recognizable as High Lords, so whenever someone is set to inherit that position, people kind of know about it before it really happens. They can tell. And I think that's one of the ways they can do that. I picked a white product for Tarquin as opposed to an illuminating one, which was the other option. This was the Living Proof Full Thickening Cream. It was a hair product that you would put in your hair to give you volume before you blow dry, which was a little bit inconvenient because I usually don't blow dry my hair, but I only had one use left in here as of last time, as it turned out. So this is gone, which means that Tarquin is a gourmet. It did do as advertised. It did make my hair look thicker and fuller and also kind of like soft. So I did like the effect of it. I'm not sure if I'd buy it or not just because I don't really like blow drying my hair, but I would think about it. I would like a product like that on occasion, but I don't know if I'd buy this specific one. It is rather expensive, though I do like the shampoo and conditioner in this line as well. This is a gourmet and therefore rolling out, and I will be bringing in a different prompt at the end for Tarquin. Next is the Night Court, which is a product that you thought would be awful, but you actually love. Feyre does get to visit the Night Court in A Court of Mist and Fury, and she had been expecting it to be an awful place because since Spring Court was somewhere where it's always spring, she expected Night Court to be somewhere where it's always night, and she's heard of all these awful, monstrous sort of fairies that live there, and she knows that Amarantha's Under the Mountain was modeled after Night Court, so she was expecting to hate it, but she actually loves it there. And so what I actually brought in is a cleanser, and you're going to see a photo on the screen because it is currently wet. I used it about an hour ago, and so it's still damp and I don't want to carry it around, but it is a cleansing bar from Good Molecules, and I like it. I was expecting not to like a solid face cleanser. I thought it would be kind of awkward and inconvenient and that I wouldn't really care for it and I'd end up hate panning it, but I actually do like it. I wouldn't necessarily say that I love it, but it works just fine. I have absolutely no complaints about it. And it's good, especially for $5, so who can complain? My goal is to finish it. That is going to take a long, long time because it is just my morning cleanser. I don't use that one at night. I use something else. And it's a bar that's going to last absolutely forever, but that's okay, still works fine, and it's just going to be in this project for a good long while. And then last time I brought in the prompt Illyrians. Illyrians are a variety of fairy that live in the Night Court. They kind of have their own culture. They make fantastic warriors, and that's usually how they're utilized. And they are naturally aggressive, so they do get bored and cause problems amongst themselves all the time when they don't have anything else to focus on, but they are very powerful and great in combat. They also have wings, which is convenient, and so since they have wings, they are an eyeliner, which gives you wings in a sense. I brought in my Maybelline eyeliner in the shade Sapphire. I have used it twice so far. My goal is 10. It is a blue eyeliner. It is old and it gets kind of difficult to use. I kind of need to warm it up on my hand in order to get anything on my eye, but it does still work. I have been trying to finish this forever, and this is going to get me a little bit closer. I do like the color of it, though I would probably switch to a different formula. Not that they make this one anymore anyway. With Tarquin leaving the project, I used Tiny Decisions to randomize another prompt to bring in to replace him, and I got Azrael. Azrael is part of the Inner Circle, and he is Illyrian. He is also a shadow singer, and we never really find out what that means in ACOPAE, but we see him use his powers in the third book, ACOWAR, so we have a better understanding at that point what it is that means. Azrael does kind of lurk in the shadows. He's the quiet one. He is my favorite Bat Boy, and that's not just because of his wingspan, but since he is always lurking in shadow and smoke, he is something that gives you a perfect smoky eye. And anytime you're doing a smoky eye, no matter what color it is, you want to make sure that the edges of your eyeshadow are very well blended because that's how you get the smoked out effect. So you need for that some kind of powdery product that is close to your skin tone. And sometimes I use a face powder for that purpose, but other times I use an eyeshadow that's close to my skin tone. This is my Lilo & Stitch Ohana palette. And in here is the shade White Sand. It's not a true white, it's more of an ivory, but I use that product all the time to blend out the edges of my eyeshadow. I did that today. but this use does not count. I am going to use that 10 more times for Azrael because I use that to smoke out my eyeshadow. So that's it for this update. For next time, I'm really very certain I'll have at least one rollout. I will absolutely get my 2 more uses on this shimmery liquid eyeshadow for Tamlin, and I will probably get my uses on at least one of these 2 cream shadows for the Cauldron and High Lady. And so we'll see if I manage to get 2 or 3. I don't know. We'll find out together, so wish me luck with that. So this is the part of the video where there's going to be a few more spoilers, so if you have not finished the A Court of Thorns and Roses series to the point of A Court of Silver Flames, and have not read Crescent City up to and including Crescent City 2, A House of Sky and Breath, I recommend that you go away and come back whenever you have. Different authors tend to have different strengths in writing. Right now I'm reading a lot of Brandon Sanderson, and he's a fabulous world builder. I love that there are laws of magic the way there are laws of physics. They are never broken. There's always a plot device in which a character finds out that it doesn't work the way that they had understood that it did, but that was always a planned sort of plot event, and the actual laws of magic always held. I am a more science-oriented type person, so I love that kind of thing. What Sarah J. Maas does really well is relationships. I think she does a great job of developing complex relationships between characters that make sense and are consistent with each character's individual values and how their character evolves over time. While we were waiting for ACOTAR 6, there is a lot of debate and what is known as the shipping war over Elaine. She has 2 possible obvious suitors at this point. She is, of course, officially mated to Lucian, but she doesn't seem to be interested in him at all, even though there is a mating bond that has formed there. There is another possibility that some people like Elaine with Azrael, because Azrael does, in fact, have a crush on her. There was a bonus chapter in one point where Rhysand actually told Azrael to stay away from her because she is bonded to Lucian. Lucian is from Autumn Court, and it would cause all these problems, so leave Elaine alone. Don't care that you like her. Tough luck, buddy. The relationships are my primary focus. When I read a story, I don't tend to get emotionally invested in who a character ends up with, because I have found, as I've read a lot, that I frequently end up disappointed anyway. So I usually just kind of like let it happen. And so it took me about a year to decide that I'm not going to go either of those routes. I am going to ship Elaine with Tamlin, and I've explained that previously. If you've been following the ACOTAR series and the Mossverse in general, there's a good chance that you have spent more time than I have trying to figure out the ships of the series. It's just not something that I'm all that good at. So I would like to know who you are shipping with who. Do you think Elaine's going to be with Lucian, with Azrael, with Tamlin? Do you think that Azrael's going to end up with Eris or Bryce? I've heard those as well. Both Tamlin and Tarquin are currently single, and that is very much frowned upon for a High Lord because no one's really sure what's going to happen to Prythian as a whole if a court ends up without an heir. So they are both under pressure to tie the knot with somebody. And so who do you think that each of them would end up with? Do you see any good candidates? Because I don't really know, to be honest with you. I would love to see your fantasy, romantasy matchmaking skills at work, so please go ahead and let me know who you see ending up with who. My mom just added about 15 books to my TBR list, but by next month I am hoping to have had a chance to reread ACOMAF. I've only read it once, and it's been about 3 years, and it is time for me to read it again. I did really enjoy that book the first time, and after having read the rest of Sarah J. Maas's works, I'm curious to go back through and find what connections I can between them that I would have missed before, with that only having been the second book by her that I had read. That is all for today. I am actually filming this on Thanksgiving morning, so I have a very important meeting with a bird that I must attend, so I am sure I will enjoy that. I hope you're having a good day today too, and I will see you next month. Bye!